You walk into the room, maybe a little late, maybe on purpose. It's been 10 years, 10 years since high school. The lights are dim. There's music playing that vaguely reminds you of being 17, and faces from another life start appearing around you. Some people seem older, some look exactly the same. There's laughter, hugs, awkward small talk. And you smile politely. You're present, but not really. As the evening moves on, you start walking the halls. You pass that old classroom where you once gave a nervous presentation, the gym where you promised yourself you'd become someone important. You laugh at how small everything feels now. But then something creeps in, a tightening in your chest, a subtle sense of discomfort. You can't quite name it at first, but you know what it is. It's regret, not regret for something you did, but regret for what you didn't do, the version of yourself you imagined you'd become by now, but didn't. You remember the ambitions you once had, the risks you didn't take, the love you let go, the project you never started, and it all seems to echo back to you now, in this strange moment, surrounded by people you once shared dreams with. This isn't just nostalgia, this is psychological dissonance, the conflict between who you are and who you believe you could have been. In neuroscience, the default mode network of your brain, responsible for daydreaming, self reflection, and imagining the future, lights up in moments like these. It's your mind revisiting your personal what ifs. And it's not trying to hurt you, it's trying to show you what still matters. Regret is not your enemy. It's not proof that you failed. It's proof that something still lives in you, something unfinished, something worth fighting for. We're raised in a culture that tells us to push regret away. No regrets, they say, like it's a badge of emotional strength. But in psychology, regret is seen as an adaptive emotion. It serves a purpose. It sharpens decision making, strengthens future planning, and encourages moral growth. It literally helps your prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive center, learn and adjust. That sense of disappointment you feel when thinking about a missed chance? That's your brain saying, hey, that mattered. Let's not ignore this. Maybe lately you've been feeling like nothing's working out, like you're stuck in a loop of trying, failing, starting over, and losing momentum. Maybe every time you build a bit of hope, reality knocks it down again. You start thinking, maybe I'm just not meant to succeed. But that's not the truth. That's the emotional residue of unmet potential. In behavioral psychology, this state is sometimes described as learned helplessness, a condition where repeated failures lead the brain to believe that effort no longer matters. But here's the twist. You can unlearn helplessness. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, proves that your patterns are not fixed. You are not fixed. You can change your beliefs, habits, and future. And regret? Regret is often the first spark. It tells you where the fire once burned. It points directly at the dreams you've buried but not forgotten. You don't regret what you didn't care about. You regret what felt true to who you are. So don't numb it. Don't scroll it away. Don't drink it away. Don't pretend it doesn't whisper to you late at night. Instead, ask it. What are you trying to teach me? What is the version of me I've been avoiding because I'm afraid to fail again? Let's be brutally honest for a second. If you keep waiting for motivation, for clarity, for the perfect time, you will wait yourself into a life you don't recognize. You don't need motivation. You need movement. Even the smallest act begins to override your brain's fear circuits. In neuroscience, we call this behavioral activation. Action leads to emotion, not the other way around. If you want to feel better, you must first move better. Act in the direction of who you want to become. Think of your future self, not as a fantasy, but as a real person waiting for you to arrive. That version of you is not unreachable. They're just on the other side of your current habits. And regret? Regret is the invitation. So here's the question. What regret are you carrying today? And how can you honor it instead of hide from it. Maybe it's going back to school. Maybe it's making that phone call. Maybe it's writing that book, quitting that job, starting that business. Maybe it's simply choosing yourself after years of neglect. Your nervous system might resist. Your brain will predict failure because it's wired to protect, not to elevate. But growth doesn't come from safety. It comes from action in the presence of discomfort. There's a concept in psychology called self-discrepancy theory, the gap between your actual self and your ideal self. That gap, that's what regret lives in, but it's also the birthplace of drive, identity, and ultimately, success. So, next time regret surfaces, don't push it down. Sit with it, write it down, understand it, and then act on it. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. And deep down, you already know what needs to shift. You've already tried surviving. Now it's time to start becoming. Regret is not a punishment. It's a message from the future version of you. A quiet, persistent voice saying, "There's still time. Come find me." And you can. All you have to do is begin.